Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to a brand new awesome yet crazy theory. And it's been a while since I've done one for this series, and I figured that if I'm ever going to do another one, then it's got to be new, it's got to be exciting, it's got to be fresh, and more importantly, it's got to be different. So I figured what better way than to do a brand new theory video involving Pennyworth. And for those of you who are familiar with that name, Pennyworth is the live-action DC TV series which chronicles the younger years of Alfred Pennyworth, who we all know is the famous butler for not only the Wayne family, but more importantly, the butler for Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. And with season 2 officially wrapped up and season 3 already been given the green light for 2022, it's always fun and interesting to figure out how exactly Pennyworth will end. I mean, it's obvious that we know that Alfred will eventually become the butler for the Wayne family, but the question is, how do we get to that point, and more importantly, how does the show end? So, this is going to be my theory on how I think Pennyworth will end. So, as we saw at the end of season 2, we saw Thomas and Martha give birth to a baby girl. Now, that did obviously raise a lot of eyebrows. Why are they giving birth to a baby girl? Why isn't it a baby boy? Hear me out. I would have the baby girl named Helena. For those of you who know that name, Helena is, of course, the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle, who would go on to become Huntress in later years. But because this show is its own thing, set in its own universe, I figured we'd have a little bit of fun with this. So I would have the baby girl named Helena Wayne, and I would have this take place during the war with the New Raven Alliance, as we saw at the end of season 2. And I would have the New Raven Alliance drop a massive gas bomb where everybody's knocked out and the baby is abducted, and that's the last we see of baby Helena. And Thomas and Martha Wayne are led to believe that the baby died, so I would have that. And I would have Thomas Wayne ask Alfred to try and look for baby Helena due to their past meeting back in season 1, so I would have them bring that up. So all throughout season 3, Alfred is on a mission to try and get baby Helena back, and sadly he is unable to find her. So during this time, I would have Martha fall pregnant and gives birth to Bruce Wayne. And towards the end of season 3, I would have the New Raven Alliance kidnap Martha Wayne while she's still heavily pregnant. And Alfred goes on one final mission before hanging up his boots for good as a soldier. He manages to rescue Martha Wayne. By this point, they're already married, so Thomas and Martha Wayne are now officially husband and wife. And Alfred rescues her, and I would have at the end, Thomas says, "Remember, I asked you before about a job. Are you still interested?" And Alfred says, "Well, you know, my time as a serviceman's finished now. I'm just looking to go back to London and just live the rest of the days of my life as a bachelor." And Thomas Wayne could say, "Well, I'll tell you what, you know, I owe you my entire life for rescuing Martha. I want you to come and work for me." And Alfred could say, "What, like your personal butler?" And Thomas says, "No, butlers are servants. You're like family. We want you to come and live with us in America, in Wayne Manor. What do you say?" And Alfred says, "Well, you know, I've still got friends here in London, you know. My mum lived here, my dad lived here. You know, what would I do in America living with you and Martha?" And Thomas could say, "Well, if anything ever happens to me or Martha. Someone needs to watch over the baby. And Alfred says, yes, about that. Have you thought of a name for the baby? And Thomas could say, we have actually. We've decided to name the baby Bruce. So if anything should ever happen to us, we want you to be Bruce's legal guardian. Keep an eye on him, make sure he's safe, and oversee all of his inheritance and so forth. So are you in? And Alfred could say, well, I'd have to think about it. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility for an ex-serviceman, Mr. Wayne. I'd have to consider this very carefully. So I would have at least a 20-year flash forward at the very end in an epilogue, and the final shot we see is Thomas and Martha come out of their limo into Gotham, and we see Thomas says, thank you very much, Alfred, that'll be all. And we see Alfred in his classic look with the little moustache and the bow tie, and we see him say, very good, sir. And that's my theory on how I think Pennyworth will end. Now, obviously, we all know that things can change, stories play out very differently, but I think for Alfred, I think that would be the best ending for him, and I think that would be a great way to end the show. So I would have Pennyworth end at 3 seasons and have a 20-year epilogue at the very end after the credits, where we see Alfred is now the butler for the Waynes, and we see him, as I mentioned, in his classic look. That's just my way of how I would end Pennyworth, but we'll have to see, really. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. How would you end Pennyworth? Would you end it like this, or would you end it in a different way? What's your thoughts on possibly naming the baby girl Helena? Would you go with that, or would you give the baby girl a different name? What about the idea of a 20-year flash-forward epilogue where we see Alfred Pennyworth is much older, working for the Waynes? Is that something you would go with, or would you go in a completely different direction? Would you have the show end at season 3, or would you have it keep going up to maybe season 4 or 5? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another awesome yet crazy theory. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe, and as always, thanks for listening.